P-list. P-list. Number four. The top 10 destination promotions that Georgia wrestling people want to work and pay attention to. I recorded this whole video, and for some reason it only recorded 10 seconds of it, so I get to redo it. But it's actually good because there are a couple things I forgot, and this time I want to make sure that they are clear. Number one is this shirt. It's gorgeous. It's a movie reference. You may not know it at first. Doesn't matter. You can explain it to me if you figure it out in the comments. Don't look it up on Google. Don't be that guy. The shirt, done for me by a group called Shirtona instead of Daytona. They don't have any kind of online presence. They don't have a Facebook page. They don't have anything. Get your shit together, guys. But a great shirt, and I appreciate them getting it to me. Your mom goes to college. That's your hint. All right. Something else I should let you know about this list. Southern Honor is not only not number one, they are not in the top 10. Does that invalidate the list? We'll have to see. You'll have to see my explanations of the top 10 promotions, destination promotions for wrestling people. And I say wrestling people because that includes wrestlers, that includes ring announcers, that includes referees, that includes any number of people involved in the wrestling business in the state of Georgia, primarily, and the promotions where they want to work and where they are looking. What does that mean? That means they're not all Georgia promotions. I considered neighboring states as well. So are there promotions that are based out of Florida on this list? Yes. Are there promotions that are based out of the Carolinas on this list? Yes. And Tennessee? Yes. Because it's the places where Georgia wrestling people want to work. I factored in the fact that they're sort of the elite in the Georgia wrestling people, and they tend to have different focuses than somebody who might wrestle in very small opponent promotions in Georgia, might have their eyes on a place within Georgia. I tried to factor in all of those things, but let's just get to the list. Yeah. Number 10, Peach State. There's a time where they would have been probably in the top 3. It wasn't that long ago that Peach State, remember, was the promotion. They had their year. They were promotion of the year, promoter of the year, booker of the year, all that good stuff. And though they have fallen from that, they seem back on the rise. And part of the reason they're doing that is because they've gotten an influx of fresh talent. Now, they've been doing that for a while, but now a couple of those people have really caught hold. Peach State is still a destination spot for Georgia wrestling people, but I'm curious to see by the end of the year if they would still be on this list. We're about to find out, I'm sure. Number 10, Peach State, for the top 10 destination spots for Georgia wrestling people and the places that they pay attention to. Number 9, Evolve. I was talking to somebody about this recently, and they brought up a good point, which is Evolve is kind of a show for the boys. The crowds invariably aren't very huge, and though they had like a WWE network presence, the show that they did the next day drew barely 100. But it's a sign that you're getting out of state. It's a sign that you're moving your way up the ladder. It's a sign that you're in the mix of being seen. And with NXT snatching up so many people, Evolve is one of those spots where you work, where you can get a look. And that cannot be overstated. Evolve is number 9 on the destination spots for Georgia wrestling people. The flinging of the cards is going much better this time around. Last time I literally hit the camera like bonk twice and it was a mess. This take is much better. Number 8, AWE. AWE, there's a time where they may have been number 1 on this list. And there was a time, not in the too recent past, where they wouldn't have been on this list at all. But with the resurgence, with Murder and Josh obviously being inspired to really push AWE again, maybe they can go back to being the promotion that the boys knocked each other down to get on and promoted like madmen. We shall see, but AWE is getting that attention. It also helps that they do that show every year at that con where there's hundreds of people who put eyeballs on the product. It's a great time for sort of an AWE relaunch, is on the heels of that. So AWE, is it going to be the spot? Much like Peach State, I think by the end of the year we'll really have a strong picture of whether AWE is going to rise on this list or drop out of it completely, and so will the fortunes of the league go. But number 8 for destination spots for Georgia wrestling people and places that people pay attention to within the state, AWE. Really good card flinging. You gotta want it. You gotta want it. Groundhog Day. That's not where this quote is from. Shine. If you're a female wrestler in Georgia, Shine is where you go when you want to get prestige within the women wrestling community. And those customs are what you want to be a part of if you want to make some real money. Now, we can have a whole video about customs and deride them and all that kind of things, but let's face it, most of the boys, most of the male wrestlers would give their eye teeth to be able to make the kind of money that the women can make at the customs and the kind of prestige and the constant presence at the show that Shine has. I go to Shine shows on occasion in Ybor City at the Orpheum, and I tell you, Shine has the consistent crowd. They outdraw FIP, they outdraw all those different leagues in Florida that do pay-per-views and all of that stuff. They even outdraw your Precious Evolved and all that stuff. Shine has the most consistent crowd, and it's always seen as a step up. When the road to Impact, the road to Ring of Honor, the road to Shine, the road to Shimmer, the road to NXT for female wrestlers often goes through Shine. It's a Florida-based outfit, but it is in the top 10 destination spots for Georgia wrestlers and wrestling people. Not a great throw. Number 6, PWX, mostly out of the Carolinas. It's the prestige show. It's the work rate show. When you want to get seen, when Chip wanted to raise his profile, he wanted to get on PWX and did. Anthony Henry. It goes on and on and on. Now Logan Creed. PWX is where you want to work. When guys say they want to work out of state, for the lower level guys, it's just working any promotion out of state. For the higher level guys, they're usually talking about getting on PWX, whether they say it overtly or not. Yeah, PWX, the problems that they may have had a few years ago are clearly behind them. They're one of, if not the best promoted promotion, right? They're doing the big shit. They're getting sellout crowds. Their average show draws in the 400 range. PWX is in the top 10 destination shows for Georgia wrestling people who fill out a great deal of their roster, by the way. That was a shit throw. We're going to do that one again. That was a great throw. Number 5, Action Wrestling. Action Wrestling, when you have the rep as the best bell for bell wrestling in the state, when you have the reputation of a promotion that's on the rise, wrestling in front of bigger crowds, and a guy like Matt Griffin, who's clearly proven that he knows what he's doing, and is now one of the guys who books Scenic City, Action has become a spot where the guys want to work. Action has become a spot where the morale is very high. All those things factor in to making Action the number 5 destination promotion and show for Georgia wrestling people. Not a great throw, but I'm not going to go run and grab that. And speaking of Matt Griffin and the tie-in, number 4 is Scenic City. Now, in the past, people have gotten very upset because Scenic City does not take place within Georgia. But we sort of consider it a Georgia show. Not only is there a lot of Georgia talent on the show, not only does Scott Hensley do most of his wrestling stuff within the state of Georgia, not only does Matt Griffin, who books it, inevitably do most of his stuff in the state of Georgia, It just felt like the Georgia show. And in fact, it won Show of the Year a couple of years ago, which caused great outrage, usually amongst people that didn't know any better or shitbird promotions. But number 4 is Scenic City. It's still the place where the guys want to work. Now, they weren't clamoring to work at this show like they used to, but just through the pull of Matt Griffin alone, yeah, they helped fill out the roster. It's still a place where you have a chance to work with indie darlings, all that kind of stuff. Scenic City is another one, like AWE, like Peach State, that we're going to know after a week. It's next week, isn't it? We're going to know whether this promotion is going to go up on this list or down on this list. There is no middle ground. And that's always interesting, isn't it? But number 4 for destination promotions and shows for Georgia wrestling people, Scenic City. Crap throw again. Shit. Number 3, Anarchy. And there's a time where Anarchy / Wildside would have been number 1 with a bullet and remained in that spot for a long, long, long time. But then there was a time where they kind of fell off. But they're here. It's the promotion that does this that is so vital. It teaches. That's his primary focus, along with, I'd say, action. Those are the promotions that are purely focused almost entirely on teaching. Anarchy is where you get Wrestling 101, but you also get 202 and 303. Anarchy is where you learn to work programs. Anarchy is where you learn to have contact and how to behave in a locker room. All the little things. How to put together a match where you have veterans that mix with young people, though not to the degree that you used to. Anarchy is definitely dropped on this list because the veteran presence simply isn't there like it used to be, though there are a few guys there who would qualify as veterans that can teach others. But between Todd and Bill and Rick, there's a lot of guys there that can teach you. And they have a connection to Southern Fried. If you do well on one show, and invariably you're going to be brought to the other one. If you do well in any number of the promotions that run in the Landmark Arena, you can find your way onto Anarchy. If you do well in APW, you can find your way on Anarchy. How many guys' careers have been helped and made and enhanced and all of that through Anarchy? A whole lot, and it continues to this day. Number 3, Anarchy. Top 10 destination spot for the Georgia wrestling people. Crap. Number 2, though, is Southern Fried. When your crowds are bigger, when your big shows are bigger, when you're meeting all the bills and you can actually make a little bit of money, when you have the locker room that is perhaps the most unified and the most enthusiastic and the morale is the highest, and they have the us against the world mentality, Southern Fried's got all of that, and it's become a destination spot for wrestling people. I'm sure Todd and everybody else who handles bookings for Southern Fried finds themselves inundated because it's still a show. It's like the perfect girl, right? She's hot, she's all these great things, but she's also attainable. And for a young wrestler wrestling in a different part of the state, this is a show that they can aspire to get on, to raise their profile and learn. And that's a great thing and a necessary thing to have. Southern Fried is number 2, top 10 destination spots for Georgia wrestling people. Not terrible. Number 1. I said Southern Honor wasn't number 1, and they weren't in the top 10. So who is number 1? Do you think it's somebody in state, or do you think it's a group that's out of state? Well, it's a group that's in state, and it's Southern Honor. Come on. The biggest crowds, the best promotion, the best promoter, the booker that's going to work with you, the best talent that they can bring in, a chance to rub elbows with AEW top flight guys, a promotion that's clearly making money and is not in danger of closing anytime soon, a promotion that for the most part controls the means of production. They've got that building, they're not going anywhere. Ask other promotions what a pain it is when you have to live at the whim of somebody who owns a venue that can kick you out at any time. Southern Honor doesn't have those problems. Hell, yes, they don't own the ring, but Jimmy Ox stores his rings there. Jimmy Ox ain't going anywhere, right? Southern Honor controls the means of production in every way, shape, or form. Who puts out the best promotional videos for wrestlers? Southern Honor. That's another feather in their cap. Right now, there's a debate going on and a discussion going on with Ashton Starr and where's my video? I want to be in the Rumble Jack and blah, blah, blah. And then people are jumping in. The fact that that's even a thing, the fact that they can even debate, I want a video, I deserve a video, and fans are like, yeah, he deserves a video, we want to see it, blah, 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 blah. It's because they actually make them and they're great. Another intangible on why Southern Honor is the top destination spot and the place that the wrestling people in Georgia are looking towards. Now, they have the most haters. They have the most people who dislike them, the most people who are wishing for their demise. And if that isn't the inevitable sign of success, I don't know what is. The promotions that have gone up against them either avoid direct conflict, like Southern Fried. Remember when they used to downplay their crowds in order to seem like they weren't competing with Southern Honor? Or GPW. What happened when they went head up with these guys? When you're the promotion to which everybody reacts against, when you're the promotion that pays you, when you're the promotion that promotes you, when you're the promotion that lets you rub elbows with the people that matter, when you're the promotion that gets the attention and has the promoter who promotes, the booker who books, and everybody else who's working in lockstep to make that show the best. When you're the promotion that has a built-in fan base of around 400 minimum. The guys want to work those shows. The women want to work those shows. Right? Southern Honor is the #1 destination spot for Georgia wrestling people. Anybody with their salt is trying to get on this show. And if they're not, they're reacting to them or they're reacting against them. That makes Southern Honor. That ain't no moon. They're the Death Star of Georgia wrestling promotions. Everybody's scared or everybody's awed, and they have the power to destroy planets. Southern Honor is the #1 destination promotion for Georgia wrestling people. But why? It begs the question, why did I say that they weren't on the list and they weren't #1 if they were both of those things? I just gave you a free booking lesson, if you think about it. This has been the P-List.